The doctor came in and he said, I want to show you what you've done. He had a picture of a spinal cord and he said, you broke your neck. And you broke your neck at the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th cervical vertebrae, and you crushed your spinal cord, and you're going to be paralyzed from the chest down for the rest of your life. And I remember thinking at 16 years old, in the middle of football season going, and I swear to God, I asked him this question, will I be able to play Friday night? And he's like, probably not. And I remember just thinking I was devastated. The gravity of the situation had not built in, but I couldn't play. And all of a sudden, life just changed. Everything changed. And I did not have the skills to deal with it. Didn't have the tools to understand it. And I just laid there. And I laid there, and it was dark, and it was lonely, and it was scary, man. And I just laid there. And all of a sudden, man, I remember one day, about 2 weeks went on. And I remember hearing these footsteps come around the corner. Intensive care, by the way, is pretty quiet. And it sounds, all you do, you just lay in intensive care and it sounds like this. Beep. Beep. And you sit there. And all of a sudden, man, around the corner, these footsteps come. And I looked up and I'm pretty dazed. And I see this blonde, gray afro just sitting at the door. I couldn't see anything else but that afro. And I didn't know what was going on. All of a sudden, that afro started to bounce towards my bed. And I'm starting to recognize, kind of reminded me of my football coach. Because my coach, it was the disco, we're the disco generation, right? And dudes put their hair in a permanent on purpose. And my coach, who was crazy, my coach had done that. And he used to look at us and go, hey, what do you guys think of my hair? We would go like, Coach, that looks really good, man. Then he'd walk away and we'd all go, pfft. But it reminded me of him, and he got to my bed, and all of a sudden he leaned over, and I could see his face, and that afro, and he put his face right up to my face. And he said something I'll never forget. He said, hey, Jeff! And you just heard this stuff. And not just my room, man. Dead people everywhere waking up. Ah. And he says, and I'll never forget this, how many wins have you had today? Like, what? How many wins have you had today? Like, how many wins have I had? And I started to go, oh, God, Coach, I'm paralyzed. I'll never walk again. I'll never play football. No one's going to love me anymore. Oh, God, what do I do? And he's like, but how many wins have you had today? This is where I learned to teach second language. I started talking louder. Like, I started to go, there's no hope, there's no hope, there's no hope. He's like, man, too bad nobody in this hospital knows you because I know you. You're not going to let the no hopes win. I'm like, okay. And he left. My mother came up later. I said, Mom, I had the weirdest dream, man. This talking afro came in my room. And he started yelling at me. She goes, that wasn't a dream, honey. That was Coach Bohan. I said, well, if he comes again, call the police. Sure enough, the next day, man, I'm laying there, and I'm flipped over on the ground, facing the ground, and I hear the footsteps, and all of a sudden, bam, the body just falls right on the floor next to me. And he's laying on his back, and it's him. And I'm looking like, ah! And I'm strapped up like this, and he slides his body under my bed. And now his face is smushed up. And he goes like this. Hey, Jeff! I'm like, I can hear you. How many wins have you had today? I'm like, oh. I'm like, Coach, there's no hope, there's no hope, there's no hope. He goes, well, I know you. And nobody in this hospital knows you, but you're not going to let the no hopes win. He walks away. And I'm laying there the next day, footsteps. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to sense an ugly pattern developing here. And the dude came every day. I was in the hospital for 6 months, never missed a day. I mean, when everybody was telling me never, 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 he was telling me you will, you will, you will, and don't let the no hopes win. And here I was sitting there thinking all of a sudden that day, I believed him. I genuinely believed him. And I spent the rest of my life going, I can win. I don't know what he did, how he did it, but I do know this. For 18 months, he sat by my side every single day. And when I figured it out for myself, he was like, cool, you got it. And one of the things, you know what he did? Of all of that, what I figured out what he did? In my darkest and scariest time, he found a way to give me hope. He found to make me believe in a future that I could not see for myself. I was so injured and so afraid, but he saw something else. And it wasn't all the things the hospital promised me. He saw a future for me that I couldn't see. He put hope back in my life, and I will never forget it. So I remember sitting at my graduation and thinking to myself, I couldn't move, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. But what did I learn? What did I have? Well, I really only had two things. I had the power of hope and the knowledge of what it feels like when you're surrounded by unconditional love. And you know what? That was enough. That was good enough for me. And I went about my business and went on to the next level because I felt like with those two things, I could win. And I went to college and I won college. And I got a job. Then I had to go get a job and I won that. Found a girl that even liked me and got married, raised a family. Did all the things you're supposed to do. Life did not cheat me. And I credit it to going back to those two things. I knew that I had the power of hope and the knowledge of what it was like to be loved. And I fast forward 30 years later, and I was asked to build a school and to do it as a testament to what I believed. What did I believe? Feel the love. If I could build a school that I could give my kids unconditional love and the power of hope, they would graduate with a fighting chance for their future. And that's what I believe to do. So, that brings me to San Diego, California, to sit in front of a group of activities directors who are surrounded by more kids probably than any other adult on your campus. And I came all the way here to ask you one very simple question. What do you believe? I told you what I believe. Feel the love. What do you believe? I have a theory, my friends, and I hope you appreciate this, because I don't think it matters what your opinion of it is, because I think it's the truth. You are going to have a profound effect on thousands of young people every year, every day over the course of your career. Those young people are going to take a piece of you with them out into the world. What piece is that? What is it that you're going to give of yourself that they're going to take with you? That's that little piece. What do you believe? What do you have to share? Because they're going to take it. They're going to take it whether you like it or not.